For now, though, let's welcome to the show Benjamin Zulu as we discuss what to do when a man suddenly disappears on you, aka ghosting. Like the guy just poteleas and you are chatting vizuri. So imagine this guy had been pursuing you very, very hard. You warmed up to him, maybe even fell in love with the guy. And you loved the attention that he was showering you with, the long conversations, you were already planning for your future. Tayari ulikuwa umeona material ya wedding dress na unataka kuishonesha vipi. You finally thought that you had found your match. But then boom, he suddenly disappears and you cannot figure out what it is that you said. Is it something that you did? It is a way that you acted. I don't know how many of you have ever found yourself in that situation. I know there's quite a number of you because you're the ones who SMS into the show asking about it. So this is for you today. Benjamin is here to help you out and to answer your questions. So please do send them in to 22999. But karibu sana, Benjamin.
Asante.
Hope you're well.
Yes, I'm well.
So why is it that these brothers just disappear?
First of all, the question that remains in the minds of many ladies is why?
Yeah.
So let's answer quickly why, so that you can go to what to do after. You need to know that every reason that makes a person leave you without telling you anything, which is very, inhuman, really insensitive, is very hurtful. It is the most hostile way people could leave you. Every reason he leaves has everything to do with him, not you.
Okay.
Many times the temptation is to blame yourself.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
So number one, guys leave for one when they have unfinished business. They have unprocessed trauma. They were once left some time back. And now when they got close to you, the same feeling of being in a relationship reminded him that there's a time he trusted this much and he was dropped. So he said, let me leave before I'm left.
This time I'm done to have the first word.
So he could have unprocessed trauma. Heartbreak can be traumatizing.
Yeah.
So maybe he has not processed that pain.
Okay.
Number two is, this man was a hit and run. There are men who do so much to just get sex. They promise love, they tell you what you want, because you look unattainable, but they know if you find a husband material, or maybe you opened your mouth, the way I've always told ladies, not to open their mouth. Me, I only want serious guys. Me, I only want guys who want to marry. Me, at this point in my life, I don't want jokers. And then you're telling him. So he acts the way you described. I told ladies that when he asked you, so what kind of a man are you looking for? You should ask yourself. You can even ask so that you can pretend to be him. Don't tell him.
Yeah.
Don't tell him what you're looking for.
But then, okay, because you're saying that he'll use that, just to get what he wants and then disappear.
Yes.
But he might do it anyways.
Some men, it's better you maintain your cards here so that you can see the kind of man he is.
Okay.
When people ask you what kind of man are you looking for, describe general things any woman would want. But not your personal values, not your personal elements. Be wise. This is not lying, this is wisdom. There's some women who are taught by Pharaoh to kill the babies of Israelites when they are born, if they are boys. They feared God, they could not kill the babies. But when Pharaoh asked them, why did you do it? He said, it's because those women don't need us. By the time we get there, they have already delivered. They lied, really, to protect the children. And God bless them for it. Sometimes you have to edge around reality to not expose yourself unnecessarily.
Okay.
So we are saying, sometimes they ghost you because you revealed it too much. The other thing they ghost you for is if you rush too much to sex. Sometimes sex can complicate things and the natural evolution of the connection is interrupted. It brings insecurities, awkwardness, shame, and many things. He begins to think, should I want to leave later? She will think I was only coming for this. She'll accuse me for it. No, something like that. So another reason they could leave is when you told too much of your past, especially sexy details. If you are a wild girl, party animal, now you have converted, you are changed, you are settled, you want a serious life now, don't disclose your former life. It does not help here. Ladies tell me, how much should I tell? I tell them,
And when should you tell it then?
Thank you. I'll tell you that. Tell only what has a bearing to your life today. Maybe you have a child and you need to say that the father of the child is a guy who used to, that has a bearing to today. But those are the things that have no bearing to this day. It's dead history. If you just need to process, go to the right people to process. Your friend, a therapist, a professional.
It's interesting you say that because we've been discussing sexual purity earlier today. And I guess the question then is, at what point should you be honest, about your past? Or should you just keep that quiet? And if the person ever gets to find out, because I've seen relationships like that, where they, they kept quiet, they got married. Then somehow the guy gets to understand, oh, back then, not that you've cheated on me now, but back then you were this sort of person. And it caused a lot of friction in the relationship. So at what point do those type of conversations come up?
Thank you for bringing that, because honesty is a very important quality. That's what makes me trust you. But again, we're saying, understand that there are some things that you don't need to give details. You can say, generally, I was this kind of a person. Without going to the details, then we moved to this. That day we went here, then we did that, then we did this, then we went that. That can be very unsettling for majority of men.
Yeah.
It's enough to say, those days I was living not a very careful life.
Right.
But now I'm changed. I'm this kind of person. Okay. So even if they say, I discovered you, I told you those days.
Yeah.
I was this kind of. So we are not saying you keep secrets.
Yeah. Well, that's destructive.
That's destructive. So we are saying, now, at what point should you tell? You tell along the progression. Remember the 5 stages of dating? There's the free association, then the role playing. The role playing is when you act as though you are the woman and he was your man, to see whether you like the role. And to see whether you enjoy the company, whether you are flowing. That's the time when you tell, because now he's considering you, you're considering him. And these people hide babies, they're not serious. You can't hide a child. A child will still come out. It's unhealthy. You don't treat her. If you are treated like a secret yourself, how would you feel? So always say, I have a child who is a part of my life. So those are some reasons men ghost.
Okay.
Can you go to what to do when they ghost you? Number 1, do not blame yourself. Don't say, what did I do? Don't be so afraid of rejection. In fact, women start running to get closure. So the second thing is, don't ask him for closure. Let's have one conversation. Let's have one last conversation. He ran away because he's coward. He could not explain that he has to quit. He didn't want to be questioned or asked that he's going back on his words. He could have, whatever reason it is, the fact that he left, that is your closure. It is cruel. It is cruel. It's insensitive, but take it as your closure so that you only experience pain once. Number 3, don't run after him. If you run after him, you are opening yourself to be hurt again, because you behave in a manner that you'll be ashamed of later.
Right.
People have knelt down to beg. Others have done things. At the time when you're feeling desperate and you're afraid of being left, you can do things that you'll be embarrassed of yourself. Better to protect yourself, your personal dignity and your personal respect.
Yeah.
You're still worth, you're still a woman.
Yeah.
So don't run after him. Instead, recollect. Step back and recollect your own feelings.
Well, let's talk about something you've mentioned there, which is sometimes it could just be that the guy somehow has lost interest. Is that possible?
It is very possible. For example, Joyce, I told ladies not to date before they know themselves or before the woman you are emerges. Joyce, when you were 22, you were just a girl among other girls. You were not so distinctively, generally this girl was this.
No, Benjamin, I was Joyce somebody. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
I know.
22, yes.
When you're 22, a lot of your qualities have not showed yet. A guy can mistake you to be a harmless, simple, stay-home girl.
Maybe.
Then he dates you. Then you date you thinking, this girl's not right. No, there are some guys who want a girl who is always below him, always below him, always below him. He has a lot of insecurities and he wants to be always on top here. I tell ladies to wait until your qualities have showed up, so that at least your strengths have thawed, your flowers begin to blossom. A guy can see what he's dealing with. So maybe he has dated, and along the journey, he has realized you have changed. The strength, who you are, he cannot handle it.
Wow, yeah.
Sometimes they lose interest for threat. They're threatened by your strength.
Yeah.
They wanted a girl who remains small. That's the problem of not studying, then going to study when you're inside. You need to have studied to a certain level at least. You can advance later, but please don't leave from Form 4 then. I'll marry first, then I go to college. You change so much after the college. Do you know how many marriages are destroyed by PhD? When you went to PhD class, we were told, some of you came in married, you got single. Some of you came in some of you, if you don't grow with your partner, you will outgrow them, and that relationship, there will be no connection again.
Absolutely.
So it's true, they can lose interest along the way. Just the same way a farmer will plant crops, and some will wilt, will wither and dry. It is a loss, but he accepts it. He does not continue watering it when it's already dried. So he can lose interest for reasons not your own. There's something we also need to flip that. Next time, tell me when women also ghost men.
Yes, yes. And actually, let's pause that there, because okay, today we are focusing on when the man ghosts the lady, but we can touch on that after this break.
Correct.
Because sometimes you're right, there are women who also do ghost men, and that's just not okay. That's very damaging, just as equally damaging. So let's tackle that when we get back from this break. 22999 is the SMS line. Please do send in your feedback. We'll be touching on it shortly.